What's going on, good people? My wife has a lot of shoes. She made a comment one day about the shoes and needing somewhere to organize them, and my response was something along the lines of, well, how about you just get rid of some of them? Obviously, that was not well received. So today, we're going to be using some wood from the scrap wood pile to build some shelving or shoe organization thingy. Hey, my name is Kenny. I am the owner of Robinson Handy and Technology Services based in Montgomery, Alabama. Today, we're going to be building a shoe organizer or shoe shelf, if you want to call it that. I have some old parts from another piece of furniture, and I'm going to show you that starting right now. What I have here is the hutch, and it's actually on its side at the moment from the desk that I got from my parent. And so this end here would be the top. As you see, there is some lights there that originally did work. Now, this was built circa 2002-ish, 2003. And so it is old. It's got some dings here and there. But the plan is to cut this down because from this outside edge to this outside edge actually fits the space that is going to go in the closet. And so the plan is to cut it here all the way down. These shelves are actually screwed in right there. I believe there's another screw in here, maybe not, but screwed in. So those will come out, that one and that one. And then the bottom part there, since it is a single piece like this up here, will be cut. And then the backing will also be cut. And then the plan will also be to take these parts that are assembled and cut and to add additional height to this to pretty much get it to the ceiling. Right now, it stands just shy of 6 feet or so. And with this will bring it up to probably about 7, maybe 7.5, I guess. I also want to separate some of this space here. And so what I'm going to do is add some shelving in, maybe 3 sets of shelving in this space here. Likewise here. Also get some trim for this front edge here and to stain the top because the top was not stained at all. And may consider removing some of this other shelving that's in here as well. Probably rotate it sideways the other way and make it go horizontal instead of like it is vertically right now. And that way I can, utilize more space and so forth. All right, let's get started by removing this shelf. I guess I can go ahead and remove that one too. All right, so I got all of that other shelving out. As you see, there's no stain in those areas where the shelving was. Next, get all of these nails out. So as you see, there's one right there. And the tactic that I like to use is to get a pair of pliers and just pull down. And it's easy if you do it with 2 hands, but you get the concept. You grab the nail with the pliers and you use the top of the plier head to pull the nail all the way through. And there you have it. Now you could knock the nail back through the other way and try to pull it out. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But if the nail is already bent, it's very hard to knock back through. All right, next step will be to remove the lights that are 1, 2, and 3. I have thought about putting LED lights in here, but I'm not sure if I'm going to actually do that yet. Got all 3 lights out, just had to cut the cords off, and there are the cords. From what I can tell, looks like my dad just bought some extension cords and wired them in with these custom cord length outlets. These are kind of similar to the ones that I use on the Christmas light show. And if this is not extension cord, it might be lamp cord, but you get the idea. All right, next, going to see about cutting this back plate as well as the ends to make this square or squarish, because it really is a tall rectangle. But yes, cut off this excess here. decided to move things outside because it is a nice day, but also cutting all of this is going to create a lot of sawdust, and I did not want to have to clean it up after the fact. All right, now going to cut this side as well as that side, and then cut the backing to fit this dimension here. Now that all the sides and that edge has been cut off, we have this. Now, since I was using the circle saw, the edge is not perfect. Well, that side is better, but this side I've made a few errors, but that will be covered up. I'm probably going to cover this up in edge trim similar to this, so you can't really tell. And this got a little bit of a lip here, but that's minor compared to the whole thing. So next, put more shelving in at various heights. And the reason I'm doing various heights is because shoes are of various thicknesses. That being said, like your bigger shoes, like your boots, your freakum shoes, those will probably be taller, and thus they get more height. And your stuff like your sandals are smaller, and they will get less height. That being said, going to use the shelf. That's one of the shelves, and the other ones, and going to cut them to width, and also going to put in pocket screws for those. And I may even take these out and do pocket screws with them as well, because as you see, the sides here have the screws in there, and I want to try to get rid of all of these screws from being visible, at least on the exterior portions of it. That being said, yeah, going to take these out and redo the shelving. What I have done now is I have measured the other shelves because they were bigger than what was already there. I've measured them, as you see here. This is one of the original ones. Measured them and will now cut them to length. And then I will use these two and maybe one of the others to serve as a extender of this. And that way it reaches that 7.5-ish or so height that I originally discussed. And then we'll also use the backer here on that extension to reinforce it and give it strength. All right, I'm going to cut the first of 4 shelves that I have. And if I feel like more are needed, I can go raid the scrap pile. Next up, pocket holes, one on each corner, so it reaches both left and right sides. And we'll do this for each of the shelving. And then for the top section, I will be putting pocket hole jigs on those as well, so that I can secure them to the top of the shoe organizer. All right, the shelving has been put in. As you see, some of the face trim needs to be redone. I don't have that in stock, so I have to go get it and attach it with brads or small nails, whatever the case. And then the additional top section is here. Is actually one leg is shorter than the other, so I'm gonna have to cut that so that both of them are the same length. Should not be difficult. And then I will put the pocket hole screws and pocket holes in them accordingly so that they can attach to the top. As you see, I've done different spacings of the shelving. So up here, very small, another size, and then this bottom section here, I kind of basically just split it in half with the shelving that I had left. That being said, it is possible that if more shelving is needed, can cut some more lumber in there, pocket hole, jig it in, and make the spaces even smaller for more shelving. Next, going to go ahead and cut these edges off and then put pocket holes on them. And here we have the assembled shoe organizer container thingy. I actually got to put one shelf back in because I had to take the shelf out in order to attach this top section with the pocket hole jig. And then I found another piece of wood that I'm gonna stick in there. I'll probably stick it up here in the top section to be able to accommodate more shelving, and that way you don't have such a large space at the top. What I had to do though, I did use pocket jig to connect the two sections together. Ideally this would be one long piece, but it's not. But it gives you the full height of 7 feet or so, 7.5. And this should be plenty of organization. Like I mentioned earlier, if more if more shelving is needed, then I can add more shelving at a later date. Going to finalize this up with trim. That requires a run to the store. I did get some trim to match this end here for the other side. I did not stain it. I didn't really, because it's in the closet, I really didn't care so much to consider staining it, but you know, I could go back and stain it at a later point if I choose to. This one, and I'm assuming because this shelf is actually a little bit thicker than the other shelves, it didn't actually have enough depth to be able to put this trim here on the front of it, because as you see, it's flush on this end and a little bit recessed on the other end. So I didn't bother about putting the trim on that, but I may do it. And the thing with the top here, I didn't realize that this end on this side was not cut the same as on this side. So I'll probably come back and cut this off just so that this end looks similar to that end. I also had to remove the top section that I showed there to try to make this all the way up to the ceiling. The reason being is I got it in the house, and when I went to go stand it up, it did not clear the space that was there. It was actually, with that extra piece on top, was actually about 8 feet 2 inches, and I have 8-foot ceilings. Combine that with the carpet, and really is probably a little bit under 7. That being said, it did not fit, so I just took it off instead of trying to cut it shorter to make it fit. In the worst case scenario, may build a second bookshelf to go in the closet somewhere, or a shoe organizer to go in the closet somewhere. Hopefully she does not buy more shoes, so that this remains to be the amount of shoes necessary that she needs. That being said, this is the final product and it is installed. I figure I will show floor. So the shoes on every shelf, and each shelf is maxed out, as you can see. But that's how this works. That being said, if you have questions or comments, feel free to drop those down below. If you are in the Montgomery area and you would like a shoe organizer shelf, not necessarily using the scrap wood, I would go, if you want one of these, I will use, brand new wood and actually make the edges line up. But this is to show that, hey, you can do this with scrap wood that you have. It may not be perfect because of the wood that you have is scrap, but you can do something of this organization nature. That being said, like I said, if you want one and you're in the Montgomery area, I will build one for you. Similar to this, of course, you can adjust the height. Feel free to reach out, rhtservices.net. You can also contact via the social media, Facebook and Instagram, RHT Services LLC. Thank you for watching, and be sure to come back. Oh, also, please give this video a thumbs up. Peace.
Ooh, I like it. Thanks.
That don't mean you get to buy more shoes.
Well, yeah, there's nowhere to put them.
Good.